Dmitrius Garcia with xAmplify, the president of xAmplify, and today we have some really awesome information to go over with you. This is just not any other webinar. Here at xAmplify, we've really done a judicious job in trying to really understand the marketplace and from a perspective of not necessarily what tools should we be building, but how can we better serve the marketplace. And from my own personal experience and some of my colleagues, there's something that we've kind of come across over the years. And we've met a lot of really great people in the industry, and big and small, but some of the people that we've met, they've had really great dreams of building a partner program. And, unfortunately, when they saw the cost of PRMs, they were like, how am I going to build something plus pay, 15, 30, 45, $60,000 a year, and I got to build out a partner program. I got to recruit partners. I got to create content. I got to find a way to enable these people. It can take 6 to 9 months. It's my first time doing it. For us, we said, well, how can we better serve this particular person who has the ambition? Their company requires that they build a program, and they're being forced to go into a market without adequate tools and resources. So our leadership, particularly one who's here today, Aravindu, CTO, co-founder of xAmplify, he embarked on a journey of answering that question. And his answer was an open source solution. What this open source solution does for the channel is it democratizes the channel. It removes the paywall. It removes the pay-to-play mechanisms that have affected small to medium-sized businesses from going to market adequately in the channel with the proper tools necessary for doing business. Think about it this way. In the 1990s, right before the 2000s, people were still making phone calls. They were sending out, newsletters vis-a-vis mail, right? Maybe going door to door, making brochures. Everything was physical. It was a very physical game. And then you had the invention of email. Can you imagine if you couldn't afford or didn't know the know-how of how to use an email, right? And now you have your competitors using email, and you're still trying to go door to door, delivering promotions, brochures, newsletters, right? That's the analogy of where we're at now in the channel. You have these partner programs who are using really robust tools to effectively and efficiently target different locations around the world, with their product and with their services at scale with automation and AI. And then you have smaller companies or mid-sized companies who are a little bit more bootstrapped, who don't have the same ability, don't have the budget, right, to play that game. So they're working off Excel spreadsheets, they're building out their own custom portals, but at the end of the day, they're not getting the same traction. And for us, we just think that, in business, it's kind of like email, we want to bring down that paywall. We want to bring down that barrier to entry, and open source is how we do it, right? We want every business, whether it's small or large, to have an equal opportunity to compete, work the channel, develop strong partnerships, manage your partners, and do business at scale on the channel. So as I mentioned, I have Aravindu Sandela here and Bridget. Aravindu, CTO, co-founder, brainchild behind all the development work here at xAmplify. He is the Wizard of Oz, is what I refer to him as, the man behind the curtain. But today, I'm pulling back the curtain. So Aravindu, if you would like, just say a few words about yourself, introduce yourself. The world wants to know, who's Aravindu?
All right. Thanks for the introduction, D. And let me take a lead to introduce myself once again. Hey, hi everyone. This is Aravindu Sandela, co-founder and CTO of xAmplify. Being 2 decades of experience in building SaaS-based applications, products, accelerators, and being in the partner space, I know the problems. I know the problems of the partners, partner ecosystems, and that's where the xAmplify is born. At xAmplify, we have organization scales their partner ecosystem using AI-driven automation and analytics. I'm really glad to be part of today's webinar, D, to talk about the transferring partner program and experiencing the open source PRM. And I want to also look into what the future gonna look like. Excited to share my insights, and I will love to hear the thoughts as well from you guys. And again, once again, thanks, Steve, for the introductions. And that's about me.
Oh, fantastic. The man, Vendu. Now we have Bridget, right? Bridget is our CSM. She's been here for a while. She knows everything in and out about the product and also a lot of our customers. And she has a very robust hands-on experience with dealing with partner managers. And, she's everything channel when it comes to what it takes to build a partner program. So, Bridget, can you just tell us a little about yourself, Bridget?
Yes. Unlike Arvin, I do not have decades of experience in here. However, pretty much my entire professional career has been working at xAmplify with partners and with vendors. So I really love this space and getting the experience that I get to chat with people like Demetrius was mentioning and get to hear their experiences, their issues, what they're looking for when they're doing their programs and portals, and just really getting to assist and help along that way. And kind of build out my own knowledge of the channel and everything as I'm getting to do that and learn from the various different types of industries and different players and all that.
Lovely. And to that point, like today's conversation is going to be one of practicality. We're going to try to keep it as casual as possible, but most importantly, educational, right? And hopefully inspiring. We really want the market to understand that, hey, there's a company out there who's, not just working, to build out products, but also working for them. And as we embark on this path in this webinar, I gotta ask you, Arvin, you know, you made xAmplify, just this modular component with multiple cores from TCMA, PRM. We have the landscape modules, we have agentic.AI, it's in on MCP protocol. There's a lot going on the back end with our ecosystem partner profile, our partner platform. But I gotta just ask you again, like, what inspired you to create this open source PRM personally?
Wow, it's a great question, D. Uh, and the answer is very, very simple. Okay. To answer that, we want to break down the walls. Okay. We want to democratize the channel. And as you said at the start of the session webinar, you said like most PMs are locked up inside of big companies and licensing is like quite expensive. So that's the reason by going open source, we are letting everyone build, improve, and use it however they need it. They can do their own integrations. They can build their own solutions on top of it. They can integrate with their in-house products or the functionalities which were built. So it's more about like sharing and not controlling. That's the only reason, D, which we made it this PRM as an open source solution.
Awesome. I was talking to like my neighbor the other day. They work in tech, and I explained to him like, hey, we're releasing this open source PRM. The first question he asks is, I mean, why would you give out a free PRM? Why would you make your product free? I was like, well, it's this to help companies get started and what have you not. But for you, Arvin, how do you see an open source PRM kind of driving innovation and growth in the channel?
Yeah, as I said, like it's like democratizing, and then and as you said, like as your neighbor said, like why are you giving up your work? It's not really, it's not like giving back, okay? When people use it, it's gonna be improved. It's gonna come up with the new features. The entire community gonna get stronger, and everyone wins faster. That's the thing. Everyone gonna win here. That's the beauty of this open source solution.
Exactly. And that's what I tried to explain to him. I said, look, the PRM, the open source PRM, it gives you the core essential tools, right? To figure out what you need and what you don't need in order to go to market with the program that works for you, right? And because partner programs, they don't need a one size fits all, right? Usually there's always gonna be some customization. You're gonna have your own different integrations, right? You may have a different vision of how you like the layout of your platform to be, but that's going to give you the flexibility to go to market, on your own terms and what works for you. Um, but also in addition, how do you kind of see this helping, you know, in companies or like developers, other developers outside of our company, consultants, and just some of the players that are on the periphery? How is an open source PRM going to be a value add to consultants and develop or even developers and internally in other companies? How's this a value add?
Definitely. It's gonna open up new doors, D. It's gonna be a new ecosystem which is getting built. Now, consultants, if you think of from a consultant point of view, consultants can design customed partner programs, okay? And developers can add cool integrations. As I said earlier, if you have an in-house solution and you want to build that on this open source solution, it's possible now. And builders can experiment this freely. They need not to be tied up with any agreements, vendor licensings, and all those stuff. They can experiment freely, and there is no need of waiting for us to do something for them. They can do themselves. They can create what they needed. So that's the beauty. That's like opening up the new ecosystem for them.
Now, Aaron, you did something else really great this year. I want to tie it in to the PRM and open source. Like you've been just blazing a trail, right? And there's something else you did earlier this year. In around January, February, there was really big talks of this concept or the MCP protocol server.
Yep.
And you quickly jumped on that, and it's when it was fresh off the press, and you implemented it into xAmplify. What does that mean in real time? And can you kind of educate the market on how that is also changing the channel and the future of the channel?
Yeah, definitely. MCP is like a protocol. As earlier, the HTTP protocol, when it got evolved, how it helped us now to access any pages. MCP is the next protocol which is coming out in the market and which a lot of companies are trying to implement. So what happens is like you need not to be well versed with the API calls because most of the companies gonna expose their MCP servers out in the market so that MCP server from xAmplify can talk to any MCP server out in the market. They can talk to each other, whether you're a startup using basic tools or an enterprise connecting to 20 ecosystems or hundreds of ecosystems, still you can connect it because the MCP protocol is equipped with that. MCP will be taking care of the agentification. The agents beneath that gonna serve the purpose and give an answer. So that's a beauty where you can bridge between different blocks which are residing and being with the different environments like Salesforce CRM and xAmplify can talk to each other. Salesforce or HubSpot can talk to each other. And that's where we brought it into this system as an MCP protocol, which is being equipped with the within the xAmplify, and everyone can consume it, and they can subscribe to it.
Not to undersell you, I said you did something else cool this year. Actually, there's something else you did too. You also built out Oliver or Agentic AI. And
Yep.
and I'm telling you, you've been batting 1,000 this year in 2025. You're putting up Otani numbers right now. Um,
That's
not to get off on a tangent on agentic AI, but can you just kind of just highlight real briefly, because this kind of leans into where I want to take this conversation further, how agentic AI and MCP, in the open source, how this all kind of connects.
so what happens is like right now with the open source solutions, the integrations would be quite challenging. It's like the developers need to be well versed with the APIs, API calls, and all that stuff. But with this MCP protocol, MCP servers, what happens is like you can communicate with an external MCP server just by adding the security keys between that, and you can talk to this agent which is sitting there and say like, hey, get me the lead information of this lead ID or about this user. It's going to communicate with the Salesforce CRM of their MCP server and fetch all the details, and then you can bundle this as a flow, and you can say like, once I get this lead info, I want to take it out forward and send a certain emails out and then close the deal, and whatever the actions you want to perform, you can definitely do that. It's quite possible with the MCP agents and all those stuff. So that's the beauty behind that.
So, thanks to you, the partner ecosystem has evolved. Rather you're just understanding the world of agentic AI and how it integrates into a PRM, and how a PRM can sit on an MC protocol server. Rather, you're still learning how all that works. I think the marketplace definitely has you to thank for evolving it and taking it to a next level. But how do you also see these elements kind of future proofing a partner program?
Huh, you know that, right? I believe in things like things change fast. It's gonna happen every day. There's something been happening, and we need to be adapting to those new changes which are coming in. New partners, new tech stack, new modules, new models. A lot of crazy stuff gonna happen. So the way we're building this solution and the way we are giving out this architecture out, it's like you can add any number of modules, you can swap it out, you can swap it in, and you can rebuild everything. It's very adaptable. Okay, it's made to adapt as you grow. So that's a beauty. That's why I say like this is very future proof, and is going to help the partners, the companies to grow.
That's awesome. And it serves as a perfect foundation, Aravindu. And I think you're really onto something. Which kind of leads me into like the other perspective, and that's Bridget's. Bridget, we're talking about PRM at a very high level and the necessity of it, and how what we're doing internally, how that's helping the market evolve. But from your experience, like as a CSM and working with these customers, like what has your experience been with them first getting introduced to a PRM, and what is that like for them, and why do you think open source is a good solution?
So I like to say, and I talk to people about this in my calls a lot, that I put people into like three different groups when they're looking at and evaluating a PRM, which is they have an established partner portal and they're already using a system. One thing, definitely, I think everybody can relate to it being complicated to switch between systems and all that. The other two, though, are you don't have a partner program at all and you're starting to build that out. You're finding your partners, you're doing all of that. Next one would be you have a partner or program, but you do not have a portal, so building that. Those people in that first group, obviously at some point, or sorry, second group, once you have a partner program, you want to establish that, you do need a portal at some point. The issue some people get into is where they don't have the budget for it. They've just established this program and they don't have that option where it's, I don't really have the budget, like Dmitrius was mentioning, being bootstrapped and all of that. Having a open source option where you can just get something, get in the board, get something for your partners that they can also utilize, so that you already have a system, even when you're just starting out, and really showing them that you're invested in them before you necessarily get to that point where you have that open source version, but you're looking for more of that functionality of a lot of the other things that we do offer with our typical, like our basic PRM, and then our through channel marketing automation, and then adding Oliver, the agent, and everything else into that, and really building out for once as your ecosystem grows, as your program grows, making sure your portal is also growing with you and not making you invest too much before you're ready, or not get exactly what you need because you can't afford it. And
That's
so
what
really having that support throughout the whole cycle.
that's what I'm talking about. Sounds like you got boots on the ground. You have that grassroots perspective, right? But
Exactly.
real quick, can you just show our platform just like kind of how things are integrated at a high level? If anyone wants a demo, they can always reach out to Rajiv, Bridget, myself, but visit the website. But just kind of show how our various cores sort of integrate on our platform.
Yes. You're looking at here would basically be the kind of culmination of all of the different offerings that and cores that, like Demetrius was mentioning, that we have available. Some of this with that open source version, not sure if Arvin mentioned specifically, but you'll get your partner onboarding, viewing deal registration, sharing a content library. Whereas for what we're building off there with that content library, you can actually create content directly in the platform that can be automatically co-branded. So your partners are, again, saving time, saving efforts, just making it as efficient of a system as possible so that everybody wants to kind of maintain that partnership and keep being effective with it. Some more with the kind of partner, just management, analytics, everything, every activity that they're doing. And this is across every version of this upgraded beyond the open source, that you get full data analytics into all activities that everybody's doing, having, again, a clear picture of that. So even if maybe a partner isn't submitting as many deals as another one, they're still accessing all of your learning tracks. They're still accessing your collateral. They're still launching campaigns. They're doing all of those things on your behalf. So you can still tell that that's still a partner that sees a lot of value in your relationship, and they're still doing those things, even though they maybe haven't been able to sign any deals yet. And then again, with that kind of the through channel marketing automation, so having that campaign capability where you can do email, video campaigns, RSVP for events, surveys, as well as social media campaigns, posting for LinkedIn. Again, just kind of giving additional avenues for a partner to be more effective, get more active, and be able to be a good partner and get some deals signed and get some revenue generating. So yeah, it's kind of a high. Any specific other things, Demetrius, you'd like me to touch on?
No, it looks really robust to me. But I want to ask you a question. I wanted to ask you, like, so in your experience, though, what have been some of, with open source, some of the remarks you've heard in the marketplace about open source when you've talked about open source with some of, some of the partners that we work with? What has been your experience, and how do they feel about open source?
I kind of touched on this a little bit before, but as I mentioned, just having something available for partners to actually utilize and value, like it's one thing, and vendor, like this goes for both sides of the coin. I'm sure Arvin can relate to this as well from his experience, where it's you have a vendor who's trying to manage their whole partner program in Excel or a platform they built themselves, and it's expensive to build your own tool. And when you're building something that's not what your specialty is, it's kind of hard to do that. Having an open source version where it's you can get something that's been built by someone and a team like Arvin and his team, where they know the industry through and through, they know the software, they know the platform, and we have this kind of idea what's been pulled for it from our actual full offering, I think is really valuable for people to kind of have that available. And again, just showing kind of value for both a vendor and partner and having that relationship and kind of building more relationships between them and value.
Lovely. There's this term in mergers and acquisitions, and it's what corporate strategy professionals live by. It's always easy to buy than it is to build, right? So if you can just buy something that is half baked, do it. Now, to that point, Arvin, I think such an awesome idea. Arvin, like, can you kind of just walk us through, maybe explain to us how easy it is to get the open source application and get started with open source?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So yes. All right, this is our GitHub link where you're gonna where it's available to the public repo. People can go ahead and search for xAmplify PRM open source. Once they have this, we have documented the README document is very clear, which gives step-by-step process. To start with, to set this up, you need to have two servers. It's like a two projects. One is like backend core and front end. So to set up the backend, you need to go into this README document where it says like what do you need from the backend process. It's a Spring Boot framework which need these are the basic steps, and these are the prerequisites. What and how do you report this entire clone? The repository, how do you clone this repository? These are the steps involved in this. How do you set the database? The steps involved in this. You need to just run these commands on your servers and do bunch of configurations, because on the back end we are using S3 bucket. Once you want to go with the S3 bucket, there are a bunch of uh, setup you need to do it, and for the hosting and sending an email, these are the few things which you need to configure. And done. This is like the entire backend process is done. You can test it out. Once the test cases are successfully running, the application would be up and running from the backend. And then there's an UI part where you're gonna set up these nodes and install this Angular version into it and run this Git command. That's it. The installation is done. And you need to do the product build and do certain configurations and start using the platform. These are the two steps which you need to follow. It's very easy. Any developer who has a basic knowledge of writing a code and deploying his product into a server, they can use it, build it, and run it in next 10-15 minutes, not more than that. But if you have a problem, you want to get an answer for it, or you want a solution, we have a community. You can put your comments and team can help you out. Or we have a vendor who is working with us very closely to helping our partner, our customers, or even though it's an open source, you can take their help and they'll help you to set the servers on your backend machines and keep it running.
Yeah, to that point, you guys, like, when you download the open source PRM, we're not going to be left alone in a desert with your own devices to figure out how to, build on top of this platform. Arvin has an army of developers and engineers and a really great strategic partner who's highly certified and knows everything about the platform and how to build on top of the platform. So any integration, any customizations you guys need, we have a team that is ready, locked, and loaded to go ahead and serve you in those efforts in the event you don't have your own development team, you're not going to be left high and dry. We will definitely have a solution and people ready to be of service to you. But at that point, Rajiv, we have Rajiv here on the line. He's also part of our team. He does a lot of help on the back end. He's a tremendous asset to the team, and I know I didn't give him an introduction in the beginning, but I do want to introduce him now. Rajiv, would you like to say hi?
Hey D, hey all. It's awesome to have you guys over here for this open source PRM webinar. And I've been talking to these channel leaders like few months ago, and I've seen a great shift because the main problem for them to migrate from one platform they're using to the other is the migration, right? With the open source PRM, the migration is too smooth, and we do have an external team that would take care of that. And apart from that, if the channel leaders could go ahead and save the budget as well, that's the main thing that we have with this. So thanks for having me, D. Yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for all your hard work, man. You are always in the trenches, making things happen, reporting back with industry intel. So we definitely appreciate you, Rajiv. You are a core component to xAmplify. Now, but Arvin, we just want to really thank you for being such a, not only a thought leader, but also a leader in innovation in the channel and inspiring here at xAmplify. You inspire us all every day with all your net new developments and how you're working to make the channel not only more innovative, but also better, more accessible. And as you mentioned, you democratize it with the open source PRM. So, thank you on behalf of the industry. And to that point, I just want to just kind of drill down, like we really believe that we want to get every company the opportunity to compete. And that's what we're doing here. We're not just a platform. We think that here at xAmplify, we're also philosophy, right? There's a reason why we do what we do, right? And why we do what we do is because we want to see programs be successful. And that's, it's more than philosophy, it's our culture. Our CSNs, people like Bridget, she's on calls every week, looking at what people are doing within the platform and trying to help them become more mature and better practitioners and guiding, holding their hands and, pushing them towards success. We can talk about revenue, we can talk about success of our vendors all day long, but that's just what we do, right? Right, that's just what we do. But why we do what we do is more important, is because we want to see people be successful. And, I just want to thank you guys for joining us today on this webinar. And I think we may have some questions in the Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to fire away. The floor is yours. Let's see. I got one from an anonymous attendee. They said, can I add hyperscale or go to market? I wonder if I'm understanding that correctly. Can I add hyperscale? So if you're asking, if the question is, if this is an integration question, like does this, can we integrate? This is the first question. We'll go through these. The open source PRM can, like it's going to be able to sit on top of any other platform that you're currently using. And if you have any problems with any integrations, like as mentioned, we have not only a team managed by Arvin, but we also have a strategic partner who is certified and knows everything about the coding of our platform and connect any platform to our platform. So that wouldn't be an issue. Let's see. Looks like you are comparable to existing PRMs. How many existing vendors are downloading this open source product and replacing their costly PRM? Well, that number I don't know at the moment, but I will say this is that from every person that I've spoken with about the open source, right? And we just released it recently within a matter of a month or two. They've downloaded it, right? And so we're also working a lot with the public and trying to get them on board or get them to understand. And some people are just working on their own, but there has been tremendous activity with partner programs, to Arvin's point, that are looking to be more dynamic, customize their own systems. We've seen them, walk through the door and downloading the platform. Another anonymous attendee. Anonymous at 10D, hiding in the shadows. All right. Rather than spending on a costly old legacy system, they could probably hire a few more headcounts and go really modern. This is true, right? I mean, and on top of that, when you look at it really being modern, Arvin talks about being future proof, MCP protocol, having the ability to be flexible, building on an open source system that fits your program, knowing that, hey, this is what we're doing to go, for the future. With the MCP protocol, the customization component, the flexibility, I don't really know why you would use I don't know why you would use an old legacy PRM, but I get it. Sometimes you're comfortable with what you're using, but that's why it's open source. You download it, you're not really taking on any sort of extra workload. You have the flexibility to build, to do whatever you want on your own terms, right? Because you're not paying a subscription fee, right? You're not paying a subscription fee. So you can grow into it, build on top of it at your own pace and your own speed. But most importantly, you can customize it for flexibility. What has been your experience? Looks like you are not focusing on that segment of customers. I don't really understand that question. You're not focusing on that segment of customers. I would say, to try to just answer the question, we're not just thinking about the market. Like, when you come into a place in software, right, you want to build the most robust platform. And ultimately, this is, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. You want to have something that is designed for even the largest company like enterprise. But sometimes when you're embarking on that path, you forget that not everybody's enterprise and not everyone has enterprise budget. And our experiences, and to your point, what has been your experience? Our experience is that I talk to everyone. We talk to everyone under the sun. I don't pick and choose who we go after all the time. I really want to understand people's experience working the channel. And sometimes, and a lot of the time, because not everyone's an enterprise level company, not everyone has enterprise budget. I talk to so many practitioners who are just like, man, I wish I can buy that. We don't have any budget. And in order for me to take this to my CRO or the CEO, I would have to show an ROI almost immediately. If it's going to take me 6 to 9 months to build this out and build out a partner program within this platform, I don't know if I can justify the cost. So the open source is addressing that very market where you have these industry practitioners who want to be modern. They want to digitize their partner program, but they don't have the budget for the tools. And that's what we're doing with open source is we're giving, those smaller practitioners, the opportunity to go to market. And we focus on everyone the same, right? Everyone's equally important. Like I said, we're democratizing the channel, which means equality. It's an egalitarian spirit. It's a philosophy. All right, this is fantastic news. Legacy PRM should be really thinking hard. Can you add a hyperscaler GTM as well?
Hey, D, to answer this, yes, the go-to-market is like co-selling and co-marketing, right? So it can be done with AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. It's all about helping the partners align with these programs, running the joint campaign, sharing the leads, and tracking co-selling, and all those stuff, the MDF stuff. So it's not just the adding the logo, but building the full GTM network or the framework on this. And definitely this is possible with the solution.
Fantastic. Well said. Well said. I basically missed your webinar. This is from Mr. Salinas. Is there another one I can attend? Hey, Roger, we have this thing recorded. We can send you a copy of it, and we can, if you like, you can message me on LinkedIn, and I'll send it to you there directly. But Roger, don't worry, we got your back. We got your back. All right, we'll get you over a copy. Is your open source extensible? You're welcome, Rodrigo. Is it extensible?
Yeah, it's really extensible, but it's like little the licensing and all the stuff we need to, because we definitely you can come up with this your integrations and all those stuff, but yeah, to be precise, yes, it can be extensible. We have every document details which are provided on the website, on the GitHub links. You can go through it and you can understand how easy it is.
Okay. That is the extent of the questions. We will leave it open for additional questions. But in the meantime, let's see. Let's see. Oh, and happy Diwali. That's how we pronounce it, right? That's right. You know, so are you guys having like fireworks? And then we'll just, we'll leave the chat open for another 5 minutes. But yeah, happy Diwali. I know it's a really big holiday. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, happy Diwali to everyone, guys. It's like the fireworks are all over. It's not the gunshots or something. It's just the fireworks, which are like to lock me down myself inside the room where it's very vacuumed and no sounds comes from outside. But if you're hearing something, yeah, it's
It's just
like
fireworks.
yeah.
That lovely sounds super fun. Um, let's see. Oh, here we go. Another question. Do you have any special training for practitioners so they can suggest to their prospects and existing customers? Absolutely. As mentioned, I think Arvin can probably walk them through that.
Yes, we have like our own playbooks and like tracks and playbooks for the practitioners or the partners who are helping this to be implemented or working with the prospects and existing customers. We have every step-by-step guides which starts from the deployment to build this system and help them to grow and go in front of the prospects and existing customers, and you will be equipped. And also, as I said, we have a team of people who can work with you guys closely and make it more successful. Yep.
Okay, there's a question, and I can only read it. I know it's a question because it's a question mark, but it says consultants can extend their contracts.
I'm not sure what's the question is all about.
Well, it's not. Well, I think what they're trying to say is, oh, I want to sign up as a consultant. Oh, well, yeah. Like if you want to sign up as a consultant with us, you can reach out to Rajiv. He heads our sales, and he can help you with fulfilling, working as a consultant with us. And thank you for reaching out and being interested and joining what we're doing here at xAmplify with democratizing the channel.
Also,
And you can also message me, and we can just chit chat if you like, but only got 15 minutes sometimes to chit chat. All right. Any additional questions? That's what I want. Leave it open. All right, got a message. Yeah. But yeah, so we will leave it open for a couple more minutes. But I think that, again, thank you guys for joining and showing up. It's one thing to go through these questions, but to hear the answers in real time is, it's very inspiring, and it's exciting, right? And I really, 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 really hope the marketplace shares our excitement as they should, right? And I'm definitely proud of you guys. All right. Well, someone says, love what you're doing. Another person says, not sure why all the channel echo chamber is not talking about this. Not sure why all the channel ecosystem is not talking. Well, I think we're talking about it now. And and it's a conversation. but there's a lot of sound out there, a lot of sound, right? And sometimes the loudest voices aren't the best voices, right? And I'm not one to get into politics, but as you know, there's some really loud voices out there, and those aren't always the best voices. Sometimes the most smartest voices may not have, the biggest blowhorns.
Right.
There was a hand raise. Let me see. All right, now what we can do also is Rajiv. I think you had mentioned something about a Discord link. Or
Yeah, we have a specific group, where the developers and the channel leaders could get connected and they could have this open source PRM deployed in minutes. So I just want you to share that link over here so that, the people could come around over there and we could discuss more about it. Yeah.
someone said, I know, at least now I'm going to my CEO's office to replace our portal. That's a smart decision.
It's good to hear.
Really appreciate all this. You guys are the Linux of this partner technology. Linux.
Yes, yeah, that's the goal, that's the aim.
Man, that's 20th century lingo right there. That's that old school lingo. That's a seasoned practitioner.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, partners like to work with a company which has a transparent portal, etc., etc. Deal reg, no one believes your partner program if it's old and antiquated or not formal. Well, yeah, I think that having a modern system platform that provides visibility, like analytics into what you're doing, even as a partner, if you're marketing on behalf of your vendor, you want your vendor to know that for a host of reasons, especially in the realm of deal recs, right? One way that we resolve channel conflict is through our visibility and our analytics. So for us, when you go to market with a partner, your partner feels confident, excuse me, that their efforts and work that they do on your behalf are going to be rewarded because you can see their day-to-day activity. You can see them sending emails. You can see who's opening the emails. You can see them engaging with their prospects. The vendor can, and the vendor then knows, hey, partner A is really, really taking the task not only understanding our product, our product by doing our learning tracks in the platform, but they're also taking the collateral and they're relaunching these campaigns, and they're doing their best to get transactions done. And for the partner, you have between having access to AI generated content material within our portal. I mean, you pretty much have a sales and marketing team in your back pocket. And all you got to do is just click a few buttons and send out emails that are already pre-populated from our Agentic.AI, and you're off to the races marketing to all your contacts. And the vendor's going to see that, you're going to win, they're going to win, everyone wins. And that's how we drive revenue. Okay, well, I think we're kind of at that point where we've had a number of questions. I think we've addressed them. And again, hey, Rajiv, thanks for working the back end and setting this up and really helping us get this on track this week and being one heck of a supporting agent for xAmplify our team. We really appreciate you. Bridget, thanks for showing up and again giving your expertise on what really happens in real time when you're working with a partner program, because you've seen it all. You've seen big, medium, and large. partner programs, and you have a robust experience and what it takes to run one. So, if you guys have any questions about what you're doing, if what you're doing is right within your partner program, whether it be a portal or a PRM, Bridget's always there to just give you a secondhand advice on what she's seen work and what she has seen not work. And then again, you have Arvin, anything from implementation to integration as it relates to all things channel in this space, from TCMA, PRMs, MCP protocol, landscapes, marketplaces, from a digital perspective. He is one heck of a resource, and he also has an army to support, anyone's audacious efforts and what they want to do in a digital space as it relates to channel and building out a PRM. And that's why he's introduced the open source PRM. So we just want to thank Arvin for being a great innovator, making time to be here today, because we know what he does. He builds. And I know, pretty sure after this call, he's going to be thinking of his next really great idea to innovate the channel. So we just want to thank Arvin for also making the time to be here today, Arvin. We appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, Dee. It's a great sharing the time with you all. Let's stay curious, let's keep experimenting, and I'm here to help you guys. There's a team to build it, and let's keep building and getting smarter together, guys.
Love it. All right. Well, gang, thanks for showing up. Definitely appreciate it. And I'm sure the marketplace did as well. We'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you, guys.